Come on in and take a load off. Come and listen to the guys as they touch your funny bone. Trust me, these guys can make you explode with laughter and make you beg for more. You're listening to House of Machismo.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to a nice, brand new, fresh out of the package episode of House of Machismo. There's no K-Rod, there's no Chris, and then there's no Luis here today. But then I got another special guest for me today. His name is Michael Jacinto. I think. Do you like to be called Mike or Michael?
Whatever flows.
I knew you were going to say something like that. So I'm going to call you Mikey. No, no, Mike is cool. I like it sounds very relaxing. Although I think Michael shows a little bit more respect, but I think Mike puts me more at ease.
All right.
You know, because, meeting you, I haven't seen you in a long time. Time. But you look really cool. And I'm all like, oh my God. You know, it's like I can't... I don't normally have these like cool people like in my house, in the studio actually, because the studio is actually in my house.
Is it Rusk or North Dallas?
It was Rusk.
Rusk, right?
Rusk. Yeah, it was a long time ago. Yeah, I know, right? it's like, I think, let's see, TJ Rusk. Yeah, because I went to TJ, Thomas Jefferson High School.
Okay.
So, yeah, because I didn't go to North Dallas.
So I think you went with my sister then.
Which one?
Her name was Jeanette Jacinto.
Oh,
she must have been either a freshman or a sophomore by the time you were graduating.
I was friends with a lot of freshmen because I had some freshman courses. I didn't do so well my freshman year, so I had to take a lot of them my senior year.
Okay.
And so I figured, there were a lot of... I'll tell you what this about freshmen is like, man, they are rambunctious. I was the only senior like in a lot of those classes. I'm like, would you people sit down? I'm trying to graduate here.
Yeah. Young bulls.
Exactly. But anyways, but seeing you, it's like, oh my God, like your beard, or I don't know, what do you call it, a beard? Because it's so trimmed, like it's so perfect.
It's actually dyed on there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's real short, but we use this thing called Beijing, and it's almost like henna. So it dyes your skin and it creates the illusion of it being full, and it's not actually full.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Man, you guys, there's a lot of tricks on there. I don't know, tricks or, Dude, no, that's... and so I was getting ready today, and because when I wake up, my hair is just like all over the place. And today I'm like thinking, oh my God, like, I want my hair to look okay. I know I need a cut, like bad. Only, because with this pandemic thing, it was a while before I was able to get a haircut.
Yes.
And then eventually I would, but now it'll be a long time. I spend so many times between haircuts. And so I'll let it grow out just because I'm used to it.
Yeah.
Because I used to get a haircut like once a month.
Okay.
And so now I think it's been about 3 months.
Wow.
4 months.
Yeah.
And it's pretty shaggy.
You should have told me to bring the clippers.
I know, right? We should have done this live.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Oh, that would have been awesome. I think one time I did book you guys to get a haircut.
You did?
I did, but I canceled. It's because we were going to do a photo shoot. And I was like, I wanted to look nice. Yeah. I wanted to look good. And I said, well, I'm going to give these guys a try. It's like, definitely, most definitely, because I see all the stuff that you post. Oh, by the way, Mikey's a barber. He owns, what's your name of your place?
Wise Guys Old School Barbershop.
Wise Guys Old School Barbershop. Yeah, I think I should have mentioned that at the top. But yeah, exactly. Other than that, it's just two dudes talking about hair.
Yeah.
No, but anyway, It's a pretty cool place. Haven't been there myself, but I've seen plenty of posts and stuff that you put on there, and it just fascinated the hell out of me. And so then I booked it, but then a photo shoot got canceled. So then I'm like, oh man, so I canceled the thing because it's like, man,
I don't need a haircut anymore.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, oh man, but most definitely, I wanted to go in there, wanted to do it, and I'm still going to because the photo shoot still, I think it's going to be sometime in August. But anyway, book it through Booksy, right? Booksy. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Isn't that kind of cool how all that stuff kind of works?
No, man, it makes it so much more easier
It
than
does.
getting phone calls all throughout the night.
Right, exactly. It's like, oh man, you have to, like a big book, you have to pencil people in.
It was
and
a
all that stuff.
lifesaver. It was a lifesaver.
I bet, man. And it's those third-party services sometimes helps out the mom and pop businesses. You know,
Yes.
it can. You know. Now go ahead and let's kind of ask, and I want you to tell me what a fadeologist is.
A fadeologist. Okay.
Is it a term? It's a term, right? Or it's a thing now. It's a word now. I would make it a word now.
I don't know if it's an actual word, but yeah,
Should
it's a
be.
term.
Yeah.
It's a term, and it's once you learn to do there's so many different styles of fades.
Mm-hmm.
Like in the early 1900s, there wasn't really a fade. It was almost like a chili bowl and just a.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a gradual blend from skin bald to, more hair.
Yeah.
So now that I believe I've mastered all different styles and types.
Mm-hmm.
So I called myself the fadeologist, but I learned to do fades I have about 6 pairs of clippers.
Yeah.
So one day, one pair of clippers went out, and each one has a certain purpose, kind of like your microphones,
Yeah.
and your things in here. You use everything for one little thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I couldn't do the haircut, and I freaked out. So after that, and this was in barber school.
Yeah.
So after that, I made it a point to learn to do the same haircut with every single clipper, just in case one of them went out. And then we had one issue where the power went out.
Oh,
so
God.
I was halfway through one of my clients, and I was like, wow, how are we going to do this? Well, I remembered when I was in the School of Hard Knocks, I was cutting hair with the comb and a razor.
Yeah.
So I finished the haircut outside on a trash can with the comb and a razor. A few months after that, I joined a barber competition, and everybody was telling me, why don't you do the haircut with the comb and a razor? Everybody's going to be using clippers. So we did it, and I got second place.
That's kind of cool.
Won some clippers, some cool combs, and all that, and that's when it became official, the fadeologist. So I was like, okay, yeah, I like that.
I went to Supercuts. Now that's how bad I am, actually, because I know, man, a lot of my friends, they have special barbers that they go to, and they only let them do their hair.
Yes.
I was never able to find that. And so, well, you know what? I never had the appreciation for that. That because it's a connection that you form with, and it's weird. It sounds to others that don't understand, it sounds a little weird, but you go to someone who you trust to do your hair right. Women been doing this for years. And then men, I guess, kind of in a way, were secretly doing it, but then now it's okay. It's like, I like my hair is done a certain way.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go to this person specifically. Not me at that point. I would go to places like Supercut or Great Clip. So this one day I went to Supercuts and I finished doing my hair, and they can do a fade. But the stuff that I see you guys do is like, it's like, no, the Supercuts can't do that. But I finished getting my hair cut, and I'm about to pay, and the power goes out. Now every chair is full in there, and they can't finish it. Now, some of them they can't finish. Some of them they can because they're just cutting their hairs. But the ones that already halfway started with the razors and stuff like that, they can't do it.
Wow.
And they had to wait. And I didn't have to pay because they can't process any of the machines or the cards or anything like that. So I literally walked out, and then I was going to go to the Target next door, but like the whole area's power was out. Even Target power was out.
So your haircut was done.
My haircut was done. And I'm like, just 5 minutes earlier, I was sitting in that chair, now, and then when I was done, it's like, whew, it's like, oh man, felt, sorry for you guys. Sucks to be you guys. I got to go by with my free haircut. I did have a little bit of cash, so I was able to tip the person, and all that. But as far as a haircut, sorry. But I've always been I guess wherever it is that I could go to get a haircut, I would, as far as like convenience and all that stuff, but I never, like I said, a lot of my friends have specific places and people that they go to. As a matter of fact, one of my friends still goes to a particular, I think it is Supercuts, but only goes to one person. And that if that person isn't there, then they won't go, and they'll even call ahead. When is so-and-so going to be working?
Yeah.
Okay, great, And it just never thought about it. It's like, that's that rapport that that you build with your barber, your stylist, and all that.
Think about it. It's almost like a podcast. A barber can be, an uncle, a therapist, all different types of things because you're sitting here listening to these guys.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they're most intimate. It's a way for them to
Yeah.
let out. Like we have rules at the barbershop. What's said in the barbershop stays in the barbershop.
Right.
Unless you ask permission.
Right.
You know, hey, can I mention this?
And you did that.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, I did that this morning. So we also have like rules. You know, no cursing while women or children are present, unless the parents kind of start it off.
Yeah.
But other than that, when a woman or a little girl walks in,
Mhm.
it's understood in the barbershop that we have to watch what we say.
And so that's just one of the things that I did notice that was unique about your shop is that you guys actually have those rules posted. Like
Mhm.
those are, and you follow them.
Oh yeah.
You know, and so that's what I thought that because you have a old school concept
Yes.
and some people don't quite understand what that is, but it's more about tradition,
Yes.
you know? And so the idea is that you just got to show respect to people, to women, and to children.
hmm
And so what are your rules? So what are your specific
So
rules?
one is to clean up after yourself. Number two is, let me see if I have my business card. I mean, I might have.
Oh, yeah.
Number one is to clean up after yourselves. Number two is no cursing while women or children are present. Number three is to pull up your pants. Neither we nor anybody else want to see the color of your underwear.
No, we don't.
And I'm forgetting number four. We just changed it up.
Mhm.
But those are the first three right there. And
And those are pretty important,
Mhm.
you know, because a lot of times, I mean, it might seem a little trivial to some people, but I mean, just walking around with your underwear showing, I mean, that's just stupid.
yeah,
You know, it's
Yes.
like there's no reason for that.
yeah,
You know, especially the kind where you have to walk.
yeah.
You know, where it's like you
just to
can't
hold
even
'em up.
run. You know, it's like, man, if somebody yelled fire, you're fucked.
Yes,
you know?
Yes.
So, but how did you come up with the name Wise Guys?
Wise guys. When I started cutting hair,
Mhm.
you know, I was into all the mafia movies, the mobster movies, and stuff
Mhm.
like that. But as I got older, it took a different meaning, and by that I mean the different gentlemen that come into that barbershop are all wise in their own way. Whether it's an electrician, whether it's the superintendent of a school district, whether it's an officer,
Mhm.
they're all wise in their own way, in their own field, in their own specialty.
Yeah.
So that's why I decided to stick with the name Wise Guys.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's a bunch of wise guys in there when we're all having conversation.
Yeah.
Everybody's kind of specializes in their own thing.
They know their own thing. They're special in that part.
Yes.
Okay.
So they're wise in it.
Yeah.
You know?
So you get a few officers, police officers and first responders that go in there. You found your card?
Yes.
All right.
And I brought you a patch too. With two
Oh.
patches.
Oh, dude, that's awesome.
There you go. I don't know if I should give them to you right now until you come get your haircut
I
officially.
know, right? Well, I'm going to. You know what? By what's this month? July? Before the end of August, I will be in your shop getting my hair cut.
Okay.
And I say that because I got other stuff that, you know, during the week. It will be on a. You guys get pretty busy, so I need a book
yes.
now
Yes.
for some time in July.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Most
So I'll be
definitely.
looking at that. Well, then I will trade you these patches for 2 House of Machismo t-shirts.
Oh, heck yeah.
Ugh.
I'll hang one up at the shop and I'll wear one.
Oh, I appreciate it. One's a medium, the other one's a large. I'm not quite sure which one you are.
Okay.
You know.
So back to your question
Oh,
about
yeah.
officers. Yes, we cut a bunch of officers, dude.
Mhm.
And we have I don't know what they're, a shadow box
Yeah.
with all the different patches from all the different guys that come, men and women that come in, whether it's Colleyville, Grapevine, Grand Prairie, DeSoto, Duncanville, Dallas.
Yeah.
And we have all their patches put up. And then we have another wall that's for our veterans.
Mhm.
So they'll bring some patches and everything has a story for the
Right.
veterans. So they'll tell us where they were at,
Mhm.
what their rank is. And we have a story to tell when a little guy comes in and, Mr. Mike, what is this patch about? So I'll tell him, and maybe that'll light a fuse in his little head to.
A little inspiration there.
Yes.
Okay.
So, and all the officer patches are just cool, man. You'll see when you come in there.
Yeah. That's pretty cool, dude. I know that because you get a lot of different people that go in there, but obviously like their political views and the way that they said all that stuff is aside.
Mhm.
There's a respect that goes with their profession,
Uh-huh.
so to say, as a veteran, as a firefighter, as a police officer, or as just to sum it all up,
Yes.
a public servant or a first responder.
Yes.
So no matter what they believe or anything like that, it's just the idea that what they do
Uh-huh.
is
Because it doesn't
deserves
matter.
a big thank you.
Yes, it doesn't matter to them if one of the officers is a Christian man and there's
Yeah.
a Jewish guy burning in a car, he's a Muslim, he's still gonna go save that guy's life no matter
Yeah.
what?
Right.
You know?
Right. It's like, I don't agree with you, but I will help you, save you, which is what we kind of aim for, and what we would like, I guess, society to be like. You know, where it's like, it's okay to disagree on stuff.
Yes.
But so as long as we can work together. And I know that sounds cheesy and all that, but in a way it's true. It's actually stuff that you would learn in elementary school that, you know, that we try to apply nowadays. And we forget.
Did you recently hear about the, it just came out on the news, the guys that are driving around downtown and start doing donuts.
Yeah.
And if you get busted recording, you get in trouble.
Yeah.
Right? So I think they should do that, but to help out firefighters or officers. So one of the firefighters that came in said there's a burning car on the side of the freeway. There's a woman trapped in the front seat, and she's yelling, "My son is in the back seat." And this car's already engulfed in flames, right?
Yeah.
So there's about 6 dudes walking around the car with their cell phones out, recording everything that's going on. And there's only a few firefighters. I think it was like an EMS, the EMS for the fire station got there first. And they don't have the jaws of life yet or anything like that. And this woman is yelling at the top of her, you know, burning up. And these dudes are more concerned about
recording.
Yeah, then I think those dudes should get fined or ticketed for, you know, failure to render aid or something.
I don't know. I mean, I agree with you. I do believe that should be, you know, assessed. And if need be, it's like, hey, dude, why didn't you help? You know, at the very least, make them feel like a jerk.
Yeah.
You know, but you're right. You know, if I think sometimes it might warrant something where it's a little bit more criminal, where it's like you just wanted to record instead of get involved.
You're more worried about the likes than
that. Yeah, exactly.
Than saving somebody's life.
Exactly. You know, but anyway, okay. So then, so if I'm walking into your shop, tell me what I'm gonna see. But walking in there, it's like, and I'm assuming it's like almost stepping back to the 1950s, 1960s in that style.
So this one, yes, we did. I did go on that. I wanted to kind of make it like the old school diner, the old school diner look and feel.
Yeah.
But as soon as you walk in, man, you're hit with love.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all over the walls. We have drawings from some of the kids that come in. Some of the officers will bring their little daughter and just wait. Have her wait while she's getting a haircut, and they feel safe with that. So I'll bring them out some colors or a coloring book or some paper, and, you know, 30, 45 minutes later, they're bringing me a drawing, and I'm, you know, it's cool to get those. To me, it's priceless.
Yeah.
So I'll put it up on the wall. You know,
you're gonna run out of wall space pretty soon.
I know. Yeah. So I mean, simple things like that, man. It's covered throughout the whole building. You know, we have POW flags. We have and the firefighter suit that Cedar Hill retired and donated it to us.
Oh,
so we have an official, real deal Holyfield firefighter suit. I might use it on weekends for some Magic Mike action, make some extra money. But no, they gave us that, and that was cool.
Yeah.
We have some actual uniform forms. I don't know what the guys call them in the Army.
Fatigues?
Yeah, fatigues. And with their name on it, their patch on it. Got those up on the wall.
Okay.
We have some, of course, for me, fishing stuff, hunting stuff.
Yeah, of course. I don't know. I heard you like to fish.
Yes, I love it.
Okay.
That's like church for me.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. And so, what was it that you envisioned when you first started the shop? Is it exactly what it is now, or did it just kind of change into that, or just kind of morphed into that? Well, like when you were first starting the shop, but what was your idea? What was in your head about, hey, I'm going to open up this barbershop?
I wanted to keep it old school. I don't know if you remember, there was a barbershop off of Denton Drive, and it was in the neighborhood over there, Denton Drive.
Like Love Field area?
Right before you get to it was right by Rusk. There used to be a carnival there. Ojela's was there at the corner.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Okay, so there was a Tom Thumb before anything was there. Do you remember that Tom Thumb? And there was a small 2-man barbershop there that my dad would take me to when I was little.
It was behind it, wasn't it? Or was it?
So you had Tom Thumb, Eckerd, and in between Eckerd, there was a small...
Eckerd's, wow. No, yeah, yeah.
So it was right in between that, and then you had Ojela's at the end of the shopping center. That always stayed in my head, and then I went to a barbershop in Oak Cliff, Mr. Raymond, and just watching him work and interact with the people, and then the way these two barbers did over there in our neighborhood.
Yeah.
That stayed etched in my mind, and it's something I always, and not always, but certain things in life happen. And that's what planted that seed. I was like, man, why don't you open something old school and then go into, I don't mean no disrespect, you go into Supercuts or anything like that.
Right.
But I went to Supercuts and the experience was completely different. So I wanted a place where men and women and children can come and feel safe and just keep it old school, you know, family, community, camaraderie. And that was the basic things that I went off of, you know, family, community, camaraderie.
Yeah.
Somewhere where people from the neighborhood could come in and you can hear about, you know, Crime Watch is talking about, you know, all this, like Nextdoor, having the Nextdoor app on your phone.
Yeah, but just a physical location for it.
Yes,
yeah.
Where parents could actually talk to the teachers from that community or where students could actually interact with their superintendent, with their principal, because they come to the barbershop. So now it's all full circle. And to me, that's a face-to-face is way better.
Yeah.
Or say little man's in the chair getting a haircut and the superintendent's sitting there and he's talking to me about problems in the school.
Yeah.
So now the superintendent is getting it directly from the student rather than, you know, these crazy emails from mom or from dad.
Yeah, exactly.
Like he's hearing it from this little man one-on-one right then and there. So now he can come up with a plan on how can we fix this issue at the school.
It's like definite community involvement.
Yes.
Okay.
And also with the officers, it gives these boys another way of seeing, like, instead of what they see on the media, what they hear from, you know, other people, they see an officer sitting in the chair having a conversation with Mr. Mike about whatever.
Yeah.
You know, they're like, wow, this dude's cool. He's not, you know, what the media portrays them out to be, just trying to kill, you know, black people, Mexican people, whatever it may be. Well, our barbershop is not just one dimensional. We have a little bit, Cedar Hill is a real nice mixing bowl.
Yeah.
So you have, you know, white, Chinese, Mexican, black, you know, it doesn't matter. And in there, everything's cool. We don't have no issues. Everybody learns to talk, even though if you might have a disagreement or something.
Yeah.
But we sit down and talk about it, not just get pissed off and, you know,
not
whatever.
accept, not listening.
Yes.
That'd be because listening is probably the most important. Well, it's obviously what you do, you know, there. But yeah, no, definitely very community orientated, which is something very hard to do when you have, when you have like these chain kind of stores or services.
Yes.
You know, it's difficult to do that. Something a little bit more personable where it's a mom and pop kind of a store.
Yes.
Okay. So how has Wise Guys changed over the years? Well, first of all, when did you first establish it?
This was 2010. I think it was 2014.
2014.
Yes, when we first started. You know, the evolution is you get out of barber school, you cut at your house or at a barber shop for a little bit, and then, you know, you plan on opening yours. And that's what I did. I actually went to a couple barbershops so I could learn from. I made a list of barbers who I wanted to follow and kind of
be mentored.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they were all older gentlemen.
Yeah.
And I would go cut with them for 6 months, learn the ropes, learn from them, listen, and then took little tools from them and then built my own toolbox. And now you have Wise Guys Old School Barbershop, man.
So how's it changed, I guess, from the concept from when your doors open to, let's just say, today?
I don't think there's been a big change because it's always been about family, community, camaraderie. Other than the word getting out, you know, the word spreads faster. So now that's how it started off with 1 or 2 officers. And then start going to their events, start sponsoring their events. One of them is a Brotherhood for the Fallen. So it's when the guys got killed at the DART station downtown. Yeah. So we cut the main guy's hair, which is Mr. Roy Moreno. He's a real cool cat. And he goes and tells his friends, his buddies, hey, this is a place. Some officers can't go to a barbershop in Oak Cliff after work wearing their pants and boots. Guys recognize them, start giving them dirty looks. You know, start saying stuff to other guys. Hey, man, you know, that's a cop right there. You got to do this. You got to do that. You know? No, they come into Wise Guys. They feel comfortable. You know, there's none of that stuff. And if there's somebody there that has a problem with it, they can get out of the barbershop. And we don't need clients like that.
Right.
You know, so that's how word spread faster. So I would say our clientele is the only thing that changed. It's gotten bigger. You know, but as far as the main game plan goes or anything like that, it's been the same thing ever since.
So how do you, I guess for you, advertisement is word of mouth.
Yes.
And it has been working great.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So So I guess it starts off with a good environment, good cuts,
Mm-hmm.
great cuts.
Yes.
And then from there, obviously, it's proof. Like I guess the customer is your best advertisement because
That's right.
they're walking around with proof
Yes,
that you're
that's
able to
absolutely
do.
correct, dude.
Yeah. And so, what kind of services do you offer? Because I think I was visiting your Facebook page and said something about like hot towels and stuff like that. Yeah.
One of the things that we like to brag about, or we take pride in, I guess I can say,
Yeah.
is the straight razor shave. And it's the old school straight razor shave.
Yeah.
So we heat up the towel,
Mhm.
put it nice and hot, steamy on your face. We lather it up first,
Yeah.
then put the towel on, take the towel off, lather it up again,
Mhm.
and then we go to work with the straight razor.
Oh, God, now that's trust, dude.
Yes.
Okay. And okay, so obviously you have to have steady hands to do something like that.
Yeah.
You know.
Very steady hands.
Okay. But obviously you also been doing it for quite a while now. So
And
you're
a lot of
pretty-
practice.
Yeah.
I cut wifey's legs a lot to practice. Sorry, baby. I had to tell him.
Well, I'm sure she appreciates that. She's like, they're smooth as silk.
Yeah.
You know. Okay, so then can you do it blindfolded? No, you wouldn't. You're not that. I don't know.
I haven't tried it, but I think
I think your wife wouldn't mind if you tried it. Yeah, like
it's cool. It's a lot of it is touch and feel. If a guy has a mole, if
Mhm.
he has
a
certain,
pimple, like because
Yeah.
sometimes I get them around my neck, like just one little bump of a pimple.
Yes,
And so whenever I do shave, when I shave here, man, I am so.
and you run over it,
And I run over it and it bleeds, and I'm like, oh my God, no.
Yeah.
You know, where's Mike Jacinto where I need him? You know, but yeah, you got to get a feel for that.
Yes.
So in a way, not in a weird way, but you're very intimate with your customers
Oh, yeah.
because you're like really right up there.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it just goes back to that trust
Yes.
that you have to form with this person. So sometimes maybe they might not want to do the straight razor cut the first time, but then when they come back, over time, they're like, okay, let's give it a shot.
Yes.
Like
right now, I have one of my coolest long-term customers, man. He's been coming for about 9 years already, and he's helped me so much. He's like a mentor to me.
Mhm.
I call him my Uncle Walt. He's African-American, walked into a barbershop when I didn't have wise guys yet. I was learning at a barbershop, right?
Mhm.
And he walks in, nobody paid attention to him. Nobody wanted to, I guess, give him service. So I told him, hey, what are you looking for? He said, I'm looking for a hot towel shave and this and this and that. Can you do it? So there's only one way to find out is if you sit in my chair. And the worst thing is you don't pay me or you beat me up. So he thought that was funny. Sits
Yeah.
down in the chair. And, usually African-American men have to use certain electrical razors so that they don't bump up because the
Right.
hair is curly. It might go back in.
Right.
But if you know what you're doing with that hot towel and your lather,
Mm-hmm.
they'll never bump up. So
Mm-hmm.
he sits in the chair. I take about 30, 45 minutes. I shave his face. I shave his head, completely bald.
Mm-hmm.
2 days later, he comes back and he's just like, wow, sets up an appointment. He couldn't believe that he didn't bump up. you know?
Yeah.
So he says, what did you do different that, I've gone to all these other guys and, I bump up or they cut me or something? I said, well, man, I put love into it. That's what sets me apart from them dudes,
That's the secret ingredient. Duh.
Yes. So he has, Mr. Walter Kent
Mm-hmm.
has helped me beyond belief, man, whether it's been, personal issues or
Yeah.
building a barbershop.
Mhm.
He's always been there to help just because of that one day. Now,
Mhm.
9 years later, I'm calling him my uncle. So that's
Yeah.
how things have evolved. I mean, I guess going back to that question, how have
Mhm.
things changed? Guys go from just being a client to now we're friends. Their children are calling me Uncle Mike. Like yesterday, we went to a good buddy of ours, Mr. Elliot. Elliot Vansel has a beautiful house in Midlothian, a successful businessman, and invited us over to his house to hang out. And his son, I've been cutting his son's hair for about 5 years. So I look up to him like as my nephew. And
Yeah.
whenever he messes up, I get on his butt or, hey, talk to him for me, whatever it may be. But that's how things have evolved. It's just you become family after
Yeah,
the end.
family, you guys have become closer.
Yes, it's real cool, man. I love it.
Yeah. So then, can you tell me, like, how did the pandemic impact your business? Because I know that a lot of places
wow.
had to shut down, had to close.
Yes, it did. It did big time. Of course, we were scared. We didn't know what to do. With all the restrictions, we had to just completely shut down. Completely shut down. So people were asking, could we do house calls? Could we do this? And I was afraid. You know, I still hadn't read up on much. I didn't have much knowledge on what's going on. So
but then also you didn't want to. I don't know. If it were me, it's like, well, because there were some places that did do house calls, and they get caught and they get in trouble. You know, and so it's like, man, I wouldn't want to put that risk on myself. You know, it's like, and I understand, like, this is America and this is your right and whatever, blah blah blah. But at the end of the day, when all this is said and done, you can have a business to go back to.
That's right.
You know,
absolutely correct. So that was one of the main things. Also, was losing my license.
Yeah.
You know, that extra, say if they were willing to pay $75 for a haircut for me to come to their house.
Yeah.
That's not worth me losing my license and my reputation, you know, so we stayed shut down. And the good thing is, man, like I said, all these amazing men and women that come into our barbershop showed plenty of love and support. And some of them wrote checks to help us out with the rent. Some of them brought food to the house. Some of them ordered food to the house. I mean, it was amazing, bro.
Yeah.
And never in my life did I think I'd be at this level coming from where I came from, you know, but that's my job now, is to teach these youngsters, hey, you know, anything is possible, dude. If you make mistakes, it's okay. Just dust yourself off, learn from it, and don't repeat it again, and keep pushing forward, and anything can happen.
It shows that effect that you had on people. Like it's sort of like that positive effect that you had on them, that in a way I don't want to say that they paid it back, because it's not really something that you pay back, but it's more something that they appreciate you and what you've done, and they have an understanding. Because I think definitely a lot of business were hurting. Like, there were bars that were hurting,
big time,
restaurants that normally didn't have the ability to accommodate their customers, you know, because I guess part of it was this new concept of, I'm going to go to, if it wasn't fast food, I'm going to go to my favorite restaurant. The concept of them bringing it out to your car, like, that's new, that's different. Oh, that's change. I don't know if I like that.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's just a lot of adjustments, you know. And again, like you said, that there was a time we just didn't quite understand what was going on with this virus, you know. And so just real quickly, there was I don't want to say an argument, but like a disagreement that I got into with one of my friends about it. You know, because they say it's just a cold virus. You know, it's like people get it and you get over it. But it's like, I was just reading about that summer camp where I think it was like 85 attendees at that summer camp, and they're mainly teenagers or so. They came down with the coronavirus, and it's like, well, if it was a regular cold and somebody had it, maybe 1 or 2 people would have caught that cold. But to be in the same summer camp and 85 people catch this, quote, cold, you know, just shows you that if it's just a cold, it's still a cold, but whatever, but it's spread pretty fast, you know? So it's like, man, and believe me, I've had some pretty bad colds. I had some pretty bad ones before. I'm the king of colds. Like, I catch them. I get cold viruses. I get allergy infections, like, pretty bad.
Yeah.
And so during the pandemic, I didn't get sick once.
Wow.
Not once. And you think about that, like, it was maybe a year, a little under a year, I guess, for, you know, before things started coming out, you know, people started, you know, pulling back the restrictions and all that stuff.
Yes.
And I owe thanks, I guess, to the mask wearing.
Okay.
For me, you know, it's just because my allergies just weren't, you know, being aggravated as much, you know. Obviously I was sanitizing a lot and all that stuff, so some of that stuff works. But I think I felt bad for the businesses that were affected by it, you know. And again, it's not a matter of, to me, it wasn't a matter of whatever your political view was or not. Gyms, you know, they had to close, you know. And it's only because massage places, you know, like Massage Envy, businesses like that, they had to close. And it's because they really didn't have a way of, these are businesses where you need to be up close with your clients, unfortunately, you know, for that standpoint. So, and I thought about your business.
Once they allowed us, I'm sorry, once they allowed us to open back up, we had to, I mean, we've always been real clean and neat with our stuff.
Yeah.
But there were certain things that got taken out that was kind of hurt me.
Yeah.
So we had 2 boxes of toys for the kids, you know, whether
Yeah.
it was Legos or whatever, and we disinfect them every day after work. So we couldn't have those anymore, or hand out candy that was, you know, not in wrappers or whatever. We had to wear our gloves and hand them out like that. But wearing a face shield, wearing a face mask, that just, it almost felt weird.
Yeah.
You know, it didn't feel like myself. Or wearing plastic gloves that made my hands sweat.
Yeah.
You know, it was kind of freaky. And then having the hair stick to your hands in the sweat. And I'm trying to talk to somebody with the mask and then a face shield over me.
Yeah.
So I was like, wow, man. So I can see how it also messed with people mentally.
Yeah.
You know, depression, anxiety, all these other things that if you don't know how to let it out or have an outlet.
There's a lot of frustration.
Yeah.
Definitely a lot of frustration that came with that.
Yes.
And I say that because there's some people where I'm talking to them and they're trying to say something, but they just can't get it out. So they literally pull their mask down, like, oh, and then they talk freely and all that.
Yes.
I get their frustration, you know, most definitely, you know. And so, I don't know, in a world when that was happening, because we really didn't, I never been through anything like that before. Yeah. This is my first time. This was probably your first time. And scary. So we just didn't know, you know, so this is all new to us. And so if and when the next thing comes along, I think we'll be a little bit more prepared or a little bit more understanding as to, oh, okay, this is what's going to be coming next. Because nobody really even knew what the law was going to be and how it could be enforced. And then we didn't know the different powers, different agencies or whatever had the authorities and stuff like that. You know, so when Texas said, hey, we don't need masks anymore, but then Walmart says, yes, you do if you come into our store, you know, so I think a lot of us just carry that mask with us. You know, it's like, we don't know where we're walking into. So if they require masks, put it on. If they don't, we'll take it off. Yeah. You know?
Heck yeah.
And so I guess that's just one of those things where it's like, you just, especially for your business, is like, you just got to follow the rules because again, if you disagree with them, that's one thing, but you got a business to run. And so if you don't follow these rules in a way, then you can be shut down or fined or whatever, you know, or, you know, so at the very least, you know, when things started opening back up, I remember one of my coworkers, she went to a salon. They had her sit outside. They did her hair or whatever, but then they have to wait for, I guess, for whatever it is that they did to
for the
set.
chemical to,
Yeah, so they were having them wait outside, you know, with all the garb and all that stuff. And I'm like, man, that's kind of weird. You know, it's like, get out. You know, until you're ready. Yes. And all that, you know.
So the same thing kind of happened to us. We had to, we were only allowed one person at the chair at the time, unless it was a child who had to be, they were under the age of 12, where mom or dad had to come in and kind of, you know, just watch them or whatever. But other than that, you'd have to wait outside in your car, and we'll come out after the haircut and come get you, and then you come in. But that also took away from that what we love at the barbershop. You know, when you got multiple people conversating about, like we're talking about right now, wearing masks or not and all that. And it's almost like music for me, you know, behind the chair, listen to multiple conversations or get engaged with the conversation. Yeah. And now all of a sudden just one person, and it's just like, wow, not that I didn't like talking to the one person. It actually made it to where we got to know each other a little bit better, or people would open up a little bit more because there weren't too many ears around. But at the same time, when you have multiple conversations going on, or everybody's engaged on a football game or a fight that we just saw, that makes it cool, you know?
It seems like definitely the kind of place you go to talk about the fight from the night before, or for that night, you know, man, you know.
I mean, it's a little bit of everything, dude. We can cover the pyramids to Dogecoin going on right now.
You can solve the world's problems in a haircut. During a haircut, you can solve the world's problems.
It's crazy. My kids freak out on me. Daddy, why do you always watch documentaries? Why do you always watch this news and that news? It's not just one news. Yeah. But I have to be prepared to be able to talk about different things with different type of people. You know, so if one
you got to be knowledgeable. That's right. Yeah.
So if one guy wants to talk politics, I got to know about politics. Yeah. Which are all these things I didn't know about before. I wasn't educated like this. You know, growing up in the hood, you know, we were just on trying to make $1. It wasn't
Yeah.
Gaining knowledge about Roth IRAs and investing your money in stocks and all this stuff.
Yeah.
So now I'm gaining all this. I've gained so much knowledge, man. It's amazing. I
Feels
love,
good, right?
Yeah, reading books and just being able to have a conversation and not sound stupid.
Right.
Somebody,
Exactly. Being able to contribute to the conversation.
Yes.
Yeah, most definitely. Okay, so what kind of charities events or community events have you done?
Oh, wow.
I know that's a big, broad question because I know you do quite a bit.
Yes. So we do the senior center in Cedar Hill. We actually need to get back with them because during the pandemic, we couldn't go back.
Yeah.
But that was with the senior citizens of Cedar Hill at the recreation center. They have dance classes, they have art class, and we'd go in and do haircuts for them. So it's cool.
Yeah.
Sitting there and listening to these old schools, man, and their stories.
Back in my day.
Yeah. Or watching them dance. You want to stay a few minutes afterwards and watch us dance this class? It's pretty cool just to spend time, man. It's priceless.
Yeah.
So we've done that. We've done the back to school haircuts at the what is that? The 9th grade center. They have a big thing. Sometimes they have the Mavs Maniacs come out there and do a little performance. They do all kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And we just do the haircuts there. We visit the firefighters down the street. The coolest one was, I forgot what hurricane it was, but they evacuated people to the convention center.
I'm trying to think. There might have been a couple of them. Back in the... Usually I'm pretty good at this stuff. I'm very weather savvy. But
you used to post that a lot.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. Oh, yeah, dude. I'll show you a little bit later. I got like all software and stuff like that. Cool. Yeah.
So it was a few years back, and this was when we had the bigger barbershop. I asked all the boys, hey, do you guys want to come? We're going to go do haircuts for the evacuees. They might be looking for jobs. They might be needing to take pictures for their IDs, whatever. They just lost everything. Let's just go show some love. All the guys end up coming up with an excuse. My dog ate my keys, my this, my that.
Oh, damn.
So I called one of my good buddies, man. He's a Marine. His name is Jason Belmont. Real cool. He owns a barbershop probably about 5 blocks away from my barbershop. And we've gotten along so good to where it's not competition. We help each other out. I mean, his style of barbershop is different than my style. So there's no issues there.
Right.
So I called him. He's, no problem. What do we need to bring? So he brings a generator, a chair, and we get down to... what did I say the place was in downtown?
I think so, yeah.
It's where the Longhorns are outside. The big
yeah. City Hall. Was it around down? We're talking Dallas, right?
Yeah, downtown.
Yeah, right
Dallas.
outside City Hall.
Yes. Yeah. But then there's a convention center there, right?
Right, the K. Bailey Hutchinson Convention Center, yeah.
Yes. So we get there and we go talk to the Red Cross people. Hey, we want to volunteer and do haircuts and whatnot. And this lady's looking at me. She's looking at my arms. And she's not looking at him. So I was like, man, what? Ma'am, well, what's going on? She said, have you ever been in trouble before? And I was like, yes, ma'am, I have. I said, it was 2006 and it was for selling drugs. She said, well, I'm afraid we can't let you volunteer. I said, man, we're just doing haircuts. So she asked us, to leave. Well, there's 2 Army guys walking around kind of keeping everybody, in line and whatnot. So he says, hey, I ever heard what's going on, man? And my buddy's a Marine. So he tells him, yeah, I'm a Marine. And he tells us, well, we're only allowed to tell people what to do on this sidewalk here. But we can't tell you guys what to do over there by those Longhorns.
Right.
And he kind of gave us the green light there, right?
Right.
And we had the generator. So we go set up right by the Longhorns, man. We got 2 chairs. And we start seeing guys with yellow bracelets. And we ask them, hey, what's up with those yellow bracelets? Oh, we're some of the evacuees. Well, would y'all like a haircut? And we had took a big ice chest with drinks, bought toothbrushes and socks and stuff like that. So we gave them all that and tell them, go tell the people inside. So we're cleaning up our stuff and like, all right, we just did a few. Cool, that felt good.
Yeah.
But then we turn around and there's this mob just coming towards
awesome.
us. Oh man, we're gonna be here all day.
Yeah.
So we start cutting hair, man. There's just a big circle around us. Well, I think it was a group of like 4 guys, almost like a barbershop quartet.
Yeah. Oh.
Hey, do you want to hear some music? So we're like, yeah. So they start harmonizing and singing, man. It was beautiful.
Oh, dude, that's awesome.
It was almost like Boys to Men.
Yeah.
Kind of deal.
Yeah.
And they start singing. And then all of a sudden, this gentleman walks through the crowd. Hey, what's going on here? What's going on here? Dressed up in a suit. We're like, oh, we're just doing haircuts for the guys, man. And, if a lady needs a haircut, we'll do a haircut for her, whatever. Give them some drinks. She said, do you mind if I put a mic on you? And I'm from Channel 5, da-da-da. I was like, oh, wow, no problem. So we made the news that day.
Oh, that's cool.
And that was pretty cool. So
yeah.
A few days after the event, we had people coming to the barbershop just telling us thank you and trying to give us tips.
Yeah.
And we're like, no. We don't, we don't want no money. This is just
right. Not for that event.
Yeah. This is just from the heart.
Yeah.
So that was cool, man. We made the news on that. And I mean, today we're going to go do haircuts at a Discovery Point Retreat, which is a facility I went to. You had some little issues going on. So I went to this facility and they actually helped me out, got me on track. And now we're going back and giving back to them, doing haircuts at the facility. And I mean, there's no charge, no nothing, just what we got to do.
Dude, that's freaking awesome. I mean, you turned something that could have been a negative into something that definitely was a positive.
Yes.
Yes. And so, and you did what you went there to do, which is to help people out and in a way give them what you needed. Haircut, but then also a little bit more, because they take away, because when they go to you to get a haircut or a fade or whatever, it's not just that, they'll walk away with something a little bit more, and so I'm assuming that day those people walked away with something a little bit more.
I hope so.
Yeah. And so in a way they kind of, I'm one of those where I hate myself whenever I say something out of spite or like immediately, like, oh, I shouldn't have said that, but we're all human.
Yes.
And so I've been pretty good at catching myself not to do that, not to do that, and so in some cases I'll start thinking in my head, like, oh my God, I am so going to tell this person this. I'm going to tell them that I'm going to do that. And I'm going to do this, because I'm angry. And then as soon as the moment arrives, I don't.
Yeah.
And I just tell them, okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
Wow.
Just hoping that maybe they'll understand. Even though they treated me a certain way, then they'll understand that, hey, they were still appreciative of what I did or what they did for me. Because I wouldn't want them to do that. I wouldn't want them to do that to me. If I'm having a bad day or something like that, then and so, yeah, for me, it's like that. It's like, okay, thank you. And I'll eat my words. Oh no. Yeah, no. I'll eat my words and let them know, not let them know, but I'll just swallow that and just throw it away or something, just kind of keep it out of my, out of public.
That shows maturity. That shows, I mean.
It's hard sometimes, but
Yes. I've had to sometimes in the barber chair and sometimes I've lost it. There's times where I've had to swallow my pride.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. There's more people in here. But there's times where I've had to say what I had to say, like issues on immigration, on certain things like that, where guys just feel that they can just.
I'll say it calmly.
Blurt stuff out.
Yeah. If and when I do something like that, like if what's the term, take someone to school.
Yeah. Yes.
I'll say it calmly. And without too much emotion behind it. Like, I don't want to make it seem like as if I'm attacking them or that I'm angry about it, because a lot of times I'm like, I just kind of want to set something straight.
Yeah.
And I get that.
Diffuse the situation without actually making sparks or anything.
And if they choose to get angry, that's just their reaction. What's the thing? Because I've learned to, when something happens, a lot of people react. They don't respond. Respond means that you pause, you take a moment, and then you respond to the situation. When you react to a situation, it's almost immediate. It's like a quick brain decision, like boom, so you don't know. So reaction can help you when you need to react quickly, when you need to make a decision now. Response will help you in a situation where you kind of need to process what is being done or what's being said.
Okay.
Usually when you have a little bit more time. So when someone says something that just kind of like makes you angry or just not, it's like, that's not cool. I try to learn to respond to it instead of react to it. Because reaction can just create this back and forth argument. That, I guess, reaction creates the argument. The unhealthy argument. I think sometimes arguments is cool, but, because sometimes Luis and I, who's on the show, will disagree about stuff. And sometimes over the microphones, it sounds like that we're angry at each other.
Yeah.
But when we go on break or whatever, it's like, hey, so dude, what you gonna do after the show? You know, because we know it's like, okay, whatever we say, because we know we disagree, so that's okay. So, but whatever happens off air or off the mics, we know that we're still friends and that we still
that love and respect still there.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and so we understand that.
Yeah.
And so even though we disagree with each other, so I've learned to more respond. Where it's like that way I don't say something that makes me look like an idiot or makes me sound like a jerk.
We need some more of that in this world, man.
Yeah, the whole, you know, because you just got to take a minute, like a few seconds just to think, like, what did they mean by that, you know? Or do I really need to say, you know, like, this guy's an idiot, this guy's a jerk, this guy's an asshole, or whatever. You know, because sometimes calling somebody an asshole doesn't do anything. It just makes the other person angry. It might make you feel better for a second, but that really doesn't accomplish moving stuff forward, you know? But anyway, but that's just me. Okay, so... so what do you think is it that keeps people coming back to you? You know, so whenever you do someone's haircut or whatever, you know, what is it that you think has them coming back?
The respect, the love, and the trust they have that, you know, what's said in the shop will stay in the shop if they're, you know, talking about certain feelings, certain things like that.
Is it mainly men that come in? I mean, I know you do have some women and all that stuff that come in, but for the majority of your customers, it's going to be men. Yeah,
men and their sons, or, you know, we might have a mom drop off her boy, or if he needs talking to, she'll come in after the haircut and, hey, can you mention this to him? Or, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah, okay.
But I think that's one of the big things that keeps people coming back, man, is just the love and respect. And say if it's, you know, a father who normally brings his son in to get a haircut, and he's working overtime, and he's got to send his wife and, you know, his daughter. She just picked up the daughter from cheerleading practice, and they got to bring bro into the shop. He trusts Mike. He trusts me to know that when his wife and daughter walk in that barbershop, there's not going to be guys gawking at them. There's not going to be guys talking about J-Lo's nalgas, you know, stuff like that. And if they do, I will say something about it, or they have to leave the barbershop. Yeah. You know, and...
Has that happened before where you tell people?
Yes. And actually, one of the officers, I never met him before. He was always working. Well, his wife and the daughter and son came in. And one day I had told the guys, like, hey, man, can you please watch what you're saying right now? There's a woman and a little girl in here. And he kept on. I was like, do you have a mom? Do you have a sister? Do you have a grandma? You'd want somebody to respect them, you know, the same way. Well, he kind of, you know, got frisky with me. So I told him, well, you know what? You're just not going to get a haircut today. And if you don't like it, you can leave and go find another barbershop. So he did. So the wife goes home and tells, you know, the husband. Yeah. And like 3 days later, he comes in, and it almost scared me, right? And I started thinking, man, have I ran a red light, or what have I done?
I don't have warrants out.
Yeah, I haven't done nothing, you know? I've been cool.
So are you Michael Jacinto?
Exactly.
No, wait. Was he a white guy? Was he
no, Mexicano, Mexican?
Oh, okay, okay. So he says Jacinto. Yeah. It is Michael Jacinto?
Yeah, walks in and looks at me and says that. And I'm thinking, yes, but I'm start thinking, like, have I run a red light? What have I haven't done nothing. He's like, man, I just want to thank you. And I was like, you know, for what? And who are you? So he tells me who he is. And then I was like, oh, wow, you're little man's dad, and that's your wife, and that's your daughter. He's like, yeah, she told me what you did the other day, man. And I just want to thank you. And he wanted to give me a bigger tip. And I was like, no, don't worry about it. That's just the way it is at this barbershop, you know? Yeah. So that's what happened.
Yeah. Okay. Well, good. I'm glad that you're stick to your guns kind of a person.
Yes.
You know, and for me, that's always been important. It's like whatever the rule is, it's like, man, it's like, because I was always taught that there are rules. And if you break them, there are consequences, you know, that come with them. And so, you know, there's just especially nowadays, there's like so many rules out there that are just broken or overlooked and sidestepped. And they're like, well, that's okay. It's like, no, that's not okay, because you established these rules for a reason. Yes. You know, and so stand up by them. You know, there's a reason why you put this on there. Now, if you need to change your rules, that's a whole different thing that maybe you need to re-examine it. But for right now, it's like we knew better, you know, and especially to break a rule, and we can say laws or whatever, but especially to break it, there's some circumstances behind that. Now, whether you did it because you just wanted to, or maybe because you had the need to, that you had to, you know, I'm not there to justify the real reason as to why the rule was broken, but just know that unfortunately or fortunately, there are consequences that go with that.
Yes.
So if you did it for what you believe is a good reason, just understand that there are probably still going to be consequences with that. But that's something that you whoever it is that broke that rule would have to live with, unfortunately or fortunately.
Yeah.
You know, so, and I think that says something about society. It's like some people just break these rules like willy-nilly, like they don't care.
Yeah.
As opposed to those that will break it because they believe that they had to. They didn't have a choice. You know, and for those that didn't have a choice, I have a little bit more respect for those than just those that go, I don't care.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know. Again, this is my belief. So
no, but it's true. It's true. I guess give me an example. Give me an example of one that you would.
Well, it's this classic tale of the kid that steals a piece of candy from a store. That was just wrong because they just wanted the candy, as opposed to the father who steals bread from the store to feed his family.
There you go.
You know, now this father steals bread from the store to feed his family. He did what he felt was necessary, but unfortunately, there are consequences that come with that.
Yeah,
and so I think that there should be venues set up to where they can make a certain decision, or something where.
Like if the penalty carried 2 to 5 years, you don't want to give him the 5,
right?
Because he wasn't doing it just to do it,
right?
You might want to give him the 2 years because he was doing it to feed his kids and he doesn't have a job. Okay,
right. It's like just have a little bit more understanding as to why it was done. You know, and you know, to me, it's the same thing comes in with immigration and stuff like that, where it's like, you know, I understand people's situations in other places, in other countries and all that, you know? And so when somebody wants to be a part of this country, which is, you know, an awesome country, it's like, that doesn't bother me so much, you know? And so the methods on how people enter are always going to be questionable, but damn, it's so hard. It's so damn hard to get into this country from the outside. We're one of the few countries that make it so damn difficult. And if you come from a poorer country, it costs so much more money to enter than it does if you come from, you know, the UK or France. You know, it's like they don't have to pay as much if you're from El Salvador, or Honduras. You know, it's like they got to pay way more, man, and that does not make sense.
This is a subject that I absolutely love and I'm passionate about. And have read books and have studied this and that about it. My mom, you know, came across illegally, and it took her 14 years to get her papers situated. And she became an American citizen, you know, went and took the test and everything like that. For those 14 years, she cleaned houses. You know, that was the happiest day of her life when she went and took her test. They gave her her little flag, and she became an American citizen, and she no longer had to clean houses. So she got herself a little job, you know, at a restaurant, whatnot. And it was amazing. But I do believe in that process, I just think it should be a little bit faster. You know, speed it up. But in the early, what was it, when World War I and World War II, and you had people coming from, you know, Poland, all those areas over there to escape. Their process was a whole lot easier. You know, and what is it? You know, like Fredericksburg, all these here in Texas. They were giving it out to people from those areas, acres, you know, stuff like that. But where's it's, you know, on the other end, where's the help at?
It's a lack of understanding, I believe. And it's because back in the day, we wanted to help those people trying to flee from governments from other countries.
Yeah.
And their situations, I guess, from other countries where it's, they were seeking asylum, basically, and so we understood that as a country back then. But nowadays, it seems like it's more of a, and I know you're very appreciative of it. You want to take care of your family, and you would do anything for your kids and for your wife.
Right.
Okay. And so a lot of people have that mentality. It's like, I need to protect my own, which is good. In a way, it is also human nature. But it depends on what your definition of your own is.
Okay.
And so, when you want to take care of your country, that's your own country.
Yes.
And so, and I'll say this is my opinion, but the excuse that I hear is like, well, we have a lot of hungry people here in our country who are American citizens. So when we're sending money off to this other country, we're not spending that money here on our own citizens that need help. And to me, it's like, well, we can help both. We absolutely can, and so it doesn't always have to be government tax money that pays for it. We have organizations and corporations that actually pay for this kind of stuff, that actually help people out.
Yes.
Whatever the goal is. But either way, we have the ability to help everyone. And why wouldn't we? And so the idea is like, I wouldn't want any child to be hungry, to ever go to bed hungry. Have you ever went to bed hungry?
Yes.
It's not a good feeling, and there's nothing you can do about it but go to bed hungry.
Yeah.
And so whether you're an American citizen child going to bed hungry, or if you're a Honduran child going to bed hungry, or if you're from Poland going to bed hungry, that shouldn't matter, because it's still this child who's going to bed hungry. So why wouldn't we want to help that?
Yeah.
Help them, and so we need to help our own people here first. It's like, no, we don't. We can help everybody first, and so that's just been my mentality with it. So coming in here illegally, there's a reason why, people come in here illegally, because it's so damn hard.
Yeah.
To get here the legal way.
Yes.
And it is. It's the United States is one of the most difficult countries to get into legally. Apparently, it's way easier to come here legally, and a wall isn't going to stop that. Unfortunately, it looks pretty, it looks menacing, it's huge or whatever, but God damn it, they can go under it and they can go over it.
Yeah,
that's just. And so to me, I understand about stopping people coming in here illegally.
Yeah. Can we take a little?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
2 minutes, real quick.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so when we come back, we're going to get to know Michael a little bit more personable. And we'll have a little bit more. All right.
While you drive to and from work, or while you're doing your number 2, listen to House of Machismo. And remember, don't flush your wipies.
If you don't wanna see me, did a full 180, crazy, thinking about the way I was. Did the heartbreak change me? Maybe, but look at where I ended up. I'm all good already, so moved on, it's scary. I'm not where you left me at all. So, if you don't wanna see me dancing with somebody, if you wanna believe that anything could stop me, don't show up, don't come out, don't start caring about me now. Walk away, you know how. Don't start caring about me now. Aren't you the guy who tried to hurt me with the word goodbye? Though it took some time to survive you, I'm better on the other side. dancing with somebody. If you wanna believe that anything could stop me, don't show up, don't show up, don't come out, don't come out, don't stop caring about me now, walk away, you know how, don't stop caring about me now. Walk away. Walk away.
So summer is upon us, and I tell you, it's been hot and humid. And with this summer comes another problem. With this summer heat,
Oh God!
not just the
Texas
summer.
heat.
Yeah, the Texas heat comes another problem. And I'm talking about bugs.
No.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Bugs.
Bugs,
Mosquitoes.
dude. Nobody likes that, like those bugs, man.
Yeah.
So are mosquitoes, flea, ticks, roaches, and other pests seem to be ruining your summer fun?
Hell no.
Well, they're ruining mine because I got a backyard.
Oh yeah, I don't.
Yeah, exactly. See,
And you got a pond.
and I have a pond. It's bad out there.
Yeah, it is.
You don't realize how bad it is. See, so the one and the only person you should call is Manny Perez of Assurance Pest and Termite. And believe me, K-Rod, this man can get the job done.
Yeah, I know he can.
Yeah, man.
He's helping you.
Yes. They say, like, hopefully he will. No, he will. Absolutely. Because you know why? I just got to call him up. And if he doesn't recognize my number, they'd be like, because at first he'd be like, fuck, it's Marty. I'm not going to pick up.
Yeah.
Because I'll keep him on the phone for like a long time.
Yeah.
So I have to like disguise my number and text him from a different number. And then finally when he gets a response, I'm like, hey, it's Marty.
I gotcha.
Yeah, exactly. He and his staff are great at handling even bigger problems such as roach and rat infestations, bed bug infestations, man. One thing that Manny does stress is do not be embarrassed to call if you have a severe roach problem or
Bed bugs.
bed bug problem. Call. He and his staff are completely professional, non-judgmental. Answering the door in a towel is not a problem. Manny would be right there with you if he already
towel.
didn't. Yeah, in a towel if he already didn't have a job to do. That's him going
That's
right
him
now.
right now.
Yeah, he's on his
He's
way.
on his way. I heard that.
Man, you think that we would have gotten like a soundproof studio? That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
But anyway, all right. So they just want to get the job done and take care of your pest and bug problems. And their goal and their mission, that is their goal and their mission, is to take care of your bug problem and your pest problem.
Yes.
Not your kids, but your actual pest problems.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Don't be Oscar and be shy.
That's
you
right.
Call.
Do they have people who speak Spanish, K-Rod?
Claro que sí.
They do, don't they? You can call or text him 24/7. Now, if he responds at 3 a.m., that's on him. So what's that number, K-Rod, that they should be calling?
Yeah, let me tell you that number, Marty. That is 214-998-3989.
And in Spanish is 214-998-3989.
And that number in
In German is what, K-Rod? 999? No. Okay, don't do that. That's highly offensive. Okay.
You started it. The right way in Spanish, that number is 214. I can't see
Oh,
the
what
number,
is it?
Marty.
What is it?
I don't know,
What is it?
Marty.
Oh,
Give me
you're
the
gonna
number.
correct. You're gonna correct me in my Spanish.
Fine.
998-3983. No, it's 9. Ha! You didn't even know. You didn't even know.
You're confusing the listeners.
Yes, I am sorry. Okay, so the actual number is 214-998-3989. 214-998-3989.
And for people from the hood, that number is 214-998-3989. Hit me up. Boom. Or not me, but...
Yeah, for him. What's his email? How can you email him? If you need to explain your situation in more detail that you think goes beyond text or a phone conversation, then you can email him.
You email him at assurancept@gmail.com.
Don't let bugs and pests take over your life. Do it now before it's too late.
Ay, Dios mío, no.
Mama said, don't give up. It's a little complicated. All tied up, no more love. And I'd hate to see you waiting. Had to have high hopes for a living. Shooting for the stars when I couldn't make a killing. Didn't have a dime, but I always had a vision. Always had high hopes. Had to have high hopes for a living. Didn't know how, but I always had a feeling. I was gonna be that one in a million. Always had high hopes. Mama said, something for oddities, stranger kisses. Ain't ever wannabes, waiting the novelties that don't ever change. We wanted everything, wanted everything. Stay up on that rise, stay up on that rise, never come down. Oh, stay up on that rise, stay up on that rise, never come down. Mama said, don't give up. It's a little complicated, all tied up, no more love, and I'd hate to see you waiting. They say it's all been done, but they haven't seen the best of me. So I got one more run, and it's gonna be a sight to see. Had to have high hopes for a living, shooting for the stars when I couldn't make a killing. Didn't have a dime, but I always had a vision. Always had high hopes. Had to have high hopes for a living. Didn't know how, but I always had a feeling. I was gonna be that one in a million. Always had high hopes. Had to have high hopes for a living. Shooting for the stars when I couldn't make a killing. Didn't have a dime, but I always had a vision. Always had high hopes. Had to have high hopes for a living. Didn't know how, but I always had a feeling. I was gonna be that one in a million. Always had high hopes.
House of Machismo, where are you? You got a show to do now. House of Machismo, where are you? You better record your show now. Come on and show him, I see you, thinking you're better than Joe Rogan. But you're not fooling me, cause I can see you don't have a larger following. You know we've got a show to do, so come on through HOM, you ready for your act. Don't hold back. And HOM, if you don't come through, you will be in breach of your contract. That's a fact. House of Machismo, here are you. You're ready and you're willing. If we can count on you, HOM, you know we will sit and listen.
Add 1 house, 4 guys, and 1/4 cup of machismo. Simmer for a little over an hour, and you get House of Machismo. Serve while hot on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and iHeartRadio. That's good machismo.
Hey there. Sorry to cut you off. We were just chatting a little bit here while we were taking our little break here, but God, we just had so much to talk about. Like even stuff like I'm sitting here, we're talking about all this kind of stuff, and I'm thinking, man, this would be kind of cool stuff to talk about on the show and all that stuff, like where we're doing it. But there's just so much. You know, we were just talking about religion. I don't know, what else are we talking about? We were talking, well, a lot of more controversial kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, but basically what it comes down to is keeping an open mind. That's basically what it is, you know, without being too offended.
Yeah.
You know, you can disagree, you know. Are you a religious person?
Yes.
You are.
Yes.
Yeah. And so we were just talking, I'm not so much a religious person, but you seem to understand as to why maybe I'm not. Tell me what if you don't mind sharing, like what are your beliefs or what?
Okay.
You know?
I actually, while I was in the school of hard knocks, I decided to go on like a little spiritual journey. So I decided to go to Jehovah's Witness services for about 3-4 months, read their literature, and kind of participated in some of their events. Then after that, I went to the Islamic faith, as a Muslim, and read their stuff, read the Quran. I actually did Ramadan with them for 30 days.
Yeah.
And that was a pretty cool experience, man. I mean, that was wow. But I wanted to get my own understanding rather than what the media said, than what people who really never lived there, who've never been inside of a mosque.
Yeah.
Just talking out of
A
their...
lot of people just think that they know what all that is about, you know.
Then I went back to Catholic Mass, did their thing, read the literature some more, and then the final one was just a Christian service. And that's when, you know, I believed in that and accepted, you know, Lord Jesus as my savior. But other than that, all the other religions were beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, and they're all similar.
Yeah.
It's just, the way I look at it, it's almost like if you're at a cookout and you're amongst your uncles and your cousins and everybody's, well, I don't want to drink Bud Light that tastes like, you know, a dog pee. I drink Tecate or I drink Modelo, and Dad drinks Bud Light.
Yeah, Bud Light's more like dog pee. But
So we're all drinking beer for one reason. That's to chill, kick back,
yeah,
and have a good time.
Yeah.
So if Modelo works for me, Bud Light works for you, I'm not going to knock it as long as you're doing, it's doing what you want it to do. So if, you know, being Muslim works for you and your family, so be it, as long as that keeps you guys on the straight path. If you're a Jehovah's Witness on this side and that's what works for you and your family, go for it.
Right.
You know, and
right.
that's the way I look at it, man. And it hasn't created any problems or anything like that. You know, I just respect everybody's religion, what they believe in, as long as it's working for their family. Now, if it's, I see you beating your wife or something, then hey, man, we need to talk about something. You know, it's different.
Yeah.
But other than that, that's how I formed my opinion and actually submerged myself into it and got my own understanding, and come to find out that it's not, if you kill yourself, you're gonna get 1,000 virgins and all this craziness that people say, you know, when you start reading the literature from different religions, you know,
you're finding out that some of the stereotypes just weren't true.
Yeah.
And
it's crazy.
Well, I know I had attended several services with my friend who used to be Jehovah's Witness. And right away, there's just so many things that I had disagreed with, but I never told them like, oh, that's bullshit, or this, you know, whatever, you know.
Was it celebrating holidays and being able to accept blood from other people?
Yeah, some of it, yeah, and that actually is true, you know, and that's the thing. But they have their reasons why.
Yeah.
If you want to believe in more than one God, that's cool. If you want to believe in one particular God, that's also cool.
Yeah.
You know, and so I think I was telling you that I'm great with religion. I respect it. It's the church sometimes that I have the problem with, the business end of things that I have a problem with. And so, but that doesn't necessarily mean that every single church is that way, because there are different congregations, there are different churches, you know, and so one church could be a certain way and you think that's not cool. But then another one's just so accepting of all people or whatever, you know, and they do great.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes.
Big differences, you know? And so, you know, Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior, your Lord and Savior, that is a great message. I mean, that's definitely awesome because it means that you believe in something. And so the way that you choose to live your life now in a certain way based on that faith, you know, and so that I can respect, you know, and so, and you understand that you're big on respect, by the way, that's the number one thing. That's one of the number one things for you is to respect people, and hopefully they respect you, you know, and so if more people can have that, there is a balance between religion and living a healthy life with other people who don't necessarily have those same beliefs. You know.
Did I tell you the story on when respect became a big issue?
No, you did not, and I want to hear about it.
So back to the School of Hard Knocks. In my mid-20s, and I'm under the TV watching these music videos, and I'm kind of, you know, grooving with the music, you can say.
Yeah.
And we got this old school veteran who's been there already about 20 years. comes and taps me on my shoulder and says, quiero ver donde están tus huevos, gallito. I want to see where your balls are at, little rooster. So I turn back and I look at him like, what the hell? All right, well, let's go do this. So I go to a couple of the boys, know, hey, man, me and Old School are going to go to the back. He wants to scrap real quick. I'll get it over with quick. Don't worry about it. So we go back there, and it was a whole different story, man. I'm young. I'm a young bull, cocky, thinking, I'm going to take this old man out with no issues. So a couple boys follow me to the back to where the cameras can't see, and we get to it, and he knocks me down the first time. I get up, dust myself off. We go at it again. He knocks me down. Second time, I get back up, and this time I no longer want to just fight. So I just rush him.
Yeah.
And I just remember waking up, and he's standing over me for a few seconds with his hand extended. And I'm looking at him kind of dazed and awed, like, wow, what just happened? So the boys grab him, put him up against the wall, and ask me, what he wants to do with him. And I was like, leave him alone. There's no need to, to beat him up or nothing like that.
Yeah.
I want to know why he did this. So they let him go. He walks back to his cell, and I go wash myself off. I had a little busted lip, little bloody nose. So I go wash myself off, and I'm in complete, I don't know how to describe that feeling. It's not like I just got my ass, I just got my ass whooped feeling, but it almost felt like a father spanking you, but he didn't explain to you.
Yeah.
Why? So sure enough, I get up, start talking to the boys, and he's out at his cell door with 2 cups of coffee, and he gestures me to come over here. So I tell the boys, stay back. I'm going to go talk to him. Don't worry about nothing. Everything's going to be all right.
Right.
So I go over there, and he allows me into his cell, and he says, sit down, mijo. So I look at him, and I tell him, hey, man, we just fought, but you're not going to call me whatever you want to call me. I'm not your son. He says, that's your problem. He says, look at your attitude. Look at this. You don't even know why I'm calling you that. He said, you remind me of my son. My son stopped writing me 10 years ago. I'm going to die in here. You get to go home. What are you going to do different when you go home so you don't come back? This has already been my second time. If I come back a third time, it's 25 to life, more than likely, right? So from then on, I was like, wow, man. I said, I really don't know what else to do other than sell drugs, He says, well, I sit here and I watch you cut hair with the comb and a razor, and people are willing to come from all around the unit just for you to cut their hair. He says, but your attitude is what, kills everything. You don't have respect for yourself. How are you going to have respect for other people, or how are people going to have respect for you?
Right.
Look at what you look like. He said, picture yourself under that TV dancing over there. You're happy, you're this, and you're in prison. He said, when you should be reading a book, educating yourself, when you should be sharpening your body, when you should be sharpening your skills, getting ready to go home and do something different so that you don't come back.
Yeah.
He said, so I wish I could have done what I just did to you to my son. He's about to be in prison now for doing the wrong things. So after that, man, we became super cool. I looked up to him almost as an uncle. He was in his mid-50s, and I'm in my mid-20s. So after that, we start working out in the mornings, and he tells me, do you have a GED? I said, no. He said, well, do you want to learn? I said, yeah, I want to get my GED. So he starts helping me with math and everything in the mornings. We go get a GED book. And then he comes up to me, he says, would you like to be the barber here? And I was like, yeah, I would love to. He said, you get to cut with clippers. He was a boot black for the unit, shine shoes,
Yeah.
So he was in there with all the big officers and stuff like that, the warden and all that.
Right.
So I was like, yeah, sure. And that's when I started cutting hair, man. I started cutting hair in the unit as a inmate barber, started cutting the inmates' hair. And then after a few months, I had a couple COs come in there and say, hey, man, do you mind just sharpening up my edge up real quick? Before I leave, I don't want to pay the barber $30 when you can do it here for free, right?
Right.
So I was like, yeah, sure, I don't mind. I started cutting a couple of those guys' hairs, and they started coming weekly. Well, one day the warden and another high-ranking officer that companies, and we're walking through, and they catch a CO in my chair. So they tell him to step out. They talk to him, and then they ask me to start packing my stuff up.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, wow, man, I'm in trouble. I just lost this cool-ass job that I'm starting to enjoy, you know, all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So they make me pack my stuff, and they start walking me down to the warden's office. So now I'm in full throttle. Damn, they're probably going to send me to the hole or something, you know, crazy like that. They walk me into this little room, white room. He says, unpack your stuff. This is the warden. I said, yes, sir. And I said, you know, warden, what's going to happen? What's happening right now? He says, well, you're looking at it. And I said, I'm looking at what? He says, your new barbershop. You're going to be my barber from here on out, boy. These officers don't stop talking about you, right? So now I become the boss's barber.
Yeah.
I'm no longer the inmate barber.
Right.
Right?
You're moving up.
Yes. So at this time, I'm also taking a class called Bridges to Life, which is family members of victims that come back to forgive them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, say whether it was a DWI and, you know, they hit somebody's car and the daughter passed away during the accident. The family, the mom and dad will come back and, hey, we understand, you know, you might have been going through some things, or it was just after work, happy hour, and there was rain, and forgive the actual, you know, forgive the dude.
Right.
So as I'm joining the program, the lady asked me, I'll go back to the other story right now. The lady asked me to write a letter to my victims. And I told her, I don't have any victims. I didn't kill anybody selling drugs. So she says, well, it seems like you're not ready for this program. You can go back home, and when you're ready, come back. I was like, wow, man, put my head down, walked off, right? Well, then I start cutting officers' hair. As I'm doing that, one officer comes in. I cut his hair. He brings a bag of McDonald's. He says, hey, Jacinto, can you do me a favor, man? When you done cutting his hair? I think that's too cold for me. And he winks at me. Just can you toss that away for me? That was my tip.
Yeah.
Right? A few days later, another one comes in, jumps out of the chair, man, is looking at himself in the mirror. I'm going to get lucky tonight, man. Thank you, Jacinto, and all this. But the feeling I was getting when these men were doing that was amazing.
Yeah.
You know, I'd never felt that before. Then another one comes in and give him a haircut. He pulls out a pack. Oh, I'm going to go on my smoke break. Pulls out a pack of cigarettes and drops about 4 cigarettes on the floor. Damn it, I can't smoke those no more. Jacinto, throw them away from me. And he winks at me. So I was like, oh, shit, this dude's giving me cigarettes now, you know?
It'd be funny, like he didn't understand any of this. All right, I'll throw them away. You know?
So now I'm in awe. Well, then I go back to the lady and I tell her, I think I'm ready for the class. And she says, well, tell me who your victims are. I said, I don't have no victims, but, you know, I might have heard somebody trying to collect money or something like that. She's like, no, you're not ready. She said, think about the mother who sold her body to get money to go buy something from you. Think about the father who cashed his check on Friday and spent half of that check with you so his kids went hungry for the next week or 2 weeks. You know, think about the young guy who stole something from his parents, or his brother and sister brought you their PlayStation, so now they went without a PlayStation. She said, why don't you go home and think about that? And if you come back with a letter tomorrow, we'll accept you into the class. I was like, wow, okay, cool. So I go back and talk to the old school Mr. Guillermo. And he's like, well, you know, you got some good stuff to write about. Tell me about your people and all this stuff. So I start telling him. We come together with this letter, man. I come back, take the class. Everything was cool. So she said, why did you sell drugs? And I said, my parents were always working hard. You know, 2 jobs. So they were home, but they weren't home. You know, they'd switch out who's going to pick us up and all this stuff. So we really didn't spend too much time with one or the other, right? So I said the streets is what, you know, really caught my attention, seeing these other guys that were selling drugs. They had a bunch of friends. They had money. They had this. They had that. And I said, and it makes me feel like I was cared about, like I had friends. Like these people depended on me every day and all that stuff. So there was really like a void within me. I didn't realize that.
Right.
You know? And at the end of the day, none of those people really cared about me. You know, they were just there to get what I had to give them. Right? But at the end of the day, none of them would come help me mow the lawn, or, hey, how's your mom doing? Is she sick? Here's this.
Right.
Here's you know, you need to get away for a vacation. You can borrow my cabin, or things like that.
Right.
That now by cutting hair, when I fell in love with it in there, when those officers were doing those things for me, right? Made me feel just complete. Like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So now, and today, I see that with my clients.
Yeah.
You know, they've become my brothers, my cousins, you know, father figures, my uncles, and I to them.
Yeah.
You know, so I feel, I mean, that's absolutely what got me from that point on. And now I've just continued to go through it, man. And now it's amazing. Like I told you earlier, invite us places. My wife, when we did the first thing for the Brotherhood for the Fallen, I think we just donated probably a couple $100, you know, and then some silent auctions. But we're at a table. I'm the only one you can tell has been to prison by his tattoos and all that.
Yeah.
And I'm surrounded by officers, drinking beer, laughing my ass off, having a good time. And she's sitting there taking pictures. And I'm like, what's going on? You once used to run from them. And now you run to them to hang out with them and chill, you know, have a good time. But that, I mean, it's just amazing, bro. It's, you know,
it's a perfect example how two people who are so different can still be together. So correct me if I'm wrong, but you understand that all that kind of played into where you are now and the man who you are now.
Yes.
You know, and so the detention officers or whatever that were who you were giving a haircut to, you know, they trusted you to give them a haircut. You know, the warden trusted you enough. You know, it's like, hey, this is your new spot now. You know, and so that you understood that when you work for something, eventually it can pay off.
Yes.
You know, and obviously they couldn't give you money. You know, but they did the next best thing they could, you know, cigarettes and McDonald's or something like that. That's where, because the rule is when you're in prison, you're not supposed to have cigarettes.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to have that. But those are rules, and those people, quote, broke those rules, but they had what they believe was a good reason to, and to show somebody that you're stuck in here, but that doesn't mean that your life is over.
Yes.
You know?
And we're going to treat you like a human being, not like an animal.
Exactly.
You know?
You know? And so, you know, you learn that. And I'm sure that they probably learned that over the years. First hires, you know, most like, especially in prisons, are told, well, don't do this, don't engage, don't do that, but blah, blah, blah. But over the years, you learn that sometimes these people, not sometimes, you learn that these people are still human beings.
She's made a mistake or
several, you know, but, you know, and so those that don't learn obviously will stay and they have to be treated a certain way.
Yes.
For some certain reasons. But for you, you know, it's like you could have been that guy that they kept putting in the hole.
Yeah.
You know?
Most definitely.
Yeah.
And that reminds me, like today, when an officer pulls you over, you're supposed to, you know, yes, sir, here's my ID, here's this. Not as soon as you roll your window down, you start talking shit and start saying, well, I don't have to give you this and I don't have to give you that. How does that automatically, what stage of mind does that officer go to now? You know, if you treat him with respect and you do as you're told, it's less likely to get escalated or anything like that. But when they first approach the window and you're already running at the mouth, that already puts them on guard. You don't know what might have been going on in their day. I mean,
it's not easy.
What they see on a daily basis, dude, is wow. I don't think I'd be able to sleep. Yeah. You know, I would have mental problems. Just look at a firefighter. He's there 3 to 4 days out of the week. He's trying to eat, say, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. They get called out on a call. They got to go scrape somebody off the freeway and then come back and try to get some rest now. But now that they're getting a rest, they didn't eat. They done missed their meal. Yeah. They come back tired. They just want to take a nap. And then they get called out on another call. So now you're malnutrition. You can't eat right.
Right.
You're not sleeping right.
Right.
You know, and they expect for these people to be, you know, the nicest human being on the world or whatever. Sometimes they're going to have a bad day because they haven't eaten. They haven't slept. And people don't take the time to think about that. Like what these dudes go through on a daily, you know, and it angers me sometimes. Yeah. You know, to hear other people talk about it when they haven't taken the time to actually, you know, talk to them. So let me give you one story there. And I asked his permission. And earlier I was talking about a firefighter. He is, I think, the treasury for the Dallas Latino Firefighters Association.
Mm-hmm.
And real cool cat, Ivan Solis. Shout out. But let me tell you this story. One officer gets called out to Oak Cliff.
Mm-hmm.
He's the only Hispanic officer on the call. Mom walks out with the little girl, towel wrapped around her. She can't use the restroom. She's bleeding from both parts.
Mm-hmm.
The uncle is in the other room yelling at the top of his lungs that she's possessed. She doesn't know what she's talking about. He would never do nothing like that.
Mm-hmm.
So they get the Hispanic officer, tell him, hey, we need you to come in the room and we need you to translate because CPS is here and other agencies are here. And we need to take the little girl to the station so we can get the rape test kit done. If not, we can't arrest anybody and there's no proof.
Mm-hmm.
So he says, Mike, I go to the room, and within the first 5 minutes, he has a daughter the same age, 9 years old. He can't take it.
Mm-hmm.
Starts breaking down, hearing what this sick dude did to this little girl, right?
Mm-hmm.
He walks out the room, and his sergeant comes back up to him. Hey, get your shit together, man. You need to go in there. You need to finish this, this translating so we can take the little girl.
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool, Sarge. He goes back in there, finishes the job, but he says the whole time this is happening, he's fighting back tears, he's fighting back anger, he's fighting back all kinds of emotions because he has a little daughter the same age.
Mm-hmm.
So they end up taking the little girl to the station, and now the officers can't allow the uncle to leave because he's a suspect, but they can't arrest him because there's no proof of nothing.
Right.
So they set up a perimeter around the house. One officer in the front, one officer in the back.
Mm-hmm.
Hispanic officers in the back. Says, I'm looking through the fence, man, and I see this dude pacing back and forth in the house.
Mm-hmm.
He finally grabs a backpack, so I radio to my officer in the front, hey, we got a possible runner on our hands. This dude decides to run out the back door, hits the fence. Hispanic officer grabs him, slams him on the ground, and says, I went blank for a few seconds. Puts his hands on him, right? Gives him a couple punches, roughs him up because of what he heard.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the neighbors are on the fence recording all this, yelling at him, telling him he's, a crooked cop, this is police brutality and all this stuff. But they didn't hear what he had just heard a few minutes ago.
Right.
So for that reason, he got, not suspended, but put on
administrative leave or something like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And potentially could lose his job.
Right.
But that's why I give these guys credit. But the simple fact that these neighbors not knowing shit about what happened, about nothing, they just start blabbing this and this and this and that when they have kids, when they have, stuff like that. So I and I've heard other stories, man, that just trip you out. Like, we just see the last few seconds of the footage.
Yeah.
But we don't see the 20 minutes before of these dudes taunting the officers, spitting on them, these guys trying to de-escalate the situation. And a human can only take so much, man.
Yeah.
And it's sad.
All right, Michael. Well, it looks like that we're just about out of time here. God, I wish we can get into a lot more. But,
I know.
But, definitely we'll have you back on. Man, this has been one of the best interviews I've done.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Marty.
you.
Thank you.
You want to plug your business there, Mr. Wise Guy?
Yeah. Let me make sure I read it correctly. So you guys can catch us at Wise Guys Old School Barbershop, 706 Cedar Street, Cedar Hill, Texas. You can reach me personally at 214-991-9066. And if you'd like to check us out on Booksy, you can download the Booksy app. It's free. And just type in Wise Guys Old School Barbershop. That'll show you pictures of our work, let you read some reviews, and actually book an appointment if you'd like to. We also specialize with straight razors, guys. That'd feel awesome.
That's what I hear.
Yes,
All right.
sir.
All right, Mike, I appreciate you being here. And then just catch us on House of Machismo, and we'll bring you some cool more interviews to come. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Bye.
You have been listening to the House of Machismo Podcast with your host, Marty Portillo, and co-hosts, Luis Salazar, Christopher Gindin, and Keith Rodriguez. Podcast director and camera operator, Oscar Martinez. Voiceover and announcer, me, Ian Del Rio. Listen to the show on Spotify, Amazon Music, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and iHeartRadio. Also find us on Facebook and Instagram. This has been a House of Machismo production. Ba-ba-da-bum.